Yo, what's up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Tiario, and I am back, y'all, with another video. And in this particular message, I just want to share with you people, on something that Jesus Christ was speaking to me about, and, I really believe that all of you people should know this, because you have to understand something, that when you are dealing with, preachers in Christianity, and you are dealing with people who are like so-called themselves Israelites or whatever the case may be, this is one thing that they kind of have in common, is that they won't reveal to you what's taking place in the spirit. Okay. Meaning that they'll just give you like a bunch of information and a bunch of knowledge on things, but they won't reveal to you on things, on what's happening in the spirit. Because you have to understand this, is that when you are walking with God, and you are trying to live for God, and you have a relationship with God, you have to understand that things happen in the spirit, meaning that God, it's like every time God gets ready to do something in the earth, it takes place in the spirit realm first. Okay, it takes place in the spirit realm first. And this is something that preachers today, they don't tell people on what's taking place in the spirit. Even Hebrew Israelites, they don't tell you what's taking place in the spirit. All they do is just, give you a bunch of information and a bunch of knowledge on things, but they are like spiritually discerned. It's like their discernment to the spirit world is dead. It's dead. And this is a message that Jesus Christ spoke to me about, and he want me to tell you people on what's going on with this. And I'm just going to say it, people, the will of God is done away with. And that's just the truth. It's just that simple. The will of God is done away with, meaning that, people have took the will of God and balled it up and threw it in the trash. Like, the will of God is done away with. I'm telling you people what's going on in the spirit realm, and I'm telling you people what's really happening. And I'm telling you people on what Jesus Christ told me. The will of God is done away with. Preachers don't care about the will of God being done. Hebrew Israelites, they don't even care about the will of God being done. People have just took the will of God, balled it up, and threw it in the trash can. The will of God is done away with, man. The will of God is not popular in these times, and it's sad, y'all. It's very, very, very sad, but you people have to know the truth. Okay, the will of God is done. I mean, you got to understand this. Let's look at it with an open eye, because you have to understand something about Christ, man. Jesus Christ is not going to lie to you. Jesus Christ is going to tell you what's going on, and he's going to tell you the truth. And this is what Jesus told me, and I'm just delivering the message to y'all. He told me, he said, Tiario, he said, the will of God is done away with. People, it's like they don't care about the will of God. It's over. People are not even bothered about the will of God. That's the truth, and when we look at everything with an open eye, y'all, you look at Christianity, you look at pagan Christians, you look at the preachers, from the mega preachers to the regular preachers, and you look at Hebrew Israelites. No one's talking about the will of God. No one's talking about the will of God. No one is encouraging people saying, hey, we got to do the will of God. You got to do the will of God. You got to do God's will. You got to do God's will. I'm telling y'all, you want to know why you're not hearing the will of God being preached? Because the will of God is done away with. That's why people don't want to have nothing to do with the will of God. That's the truth. And mega preachers are not even talking about the will of God, because they are nowhere near to even doing the will of God. These people, it's all about, and with the mega preachers, it's all about them having the fame, them making all of these hundred millions of dollars, playing church, living a lavish lifestyles, flying around in jets and riding on yachts and boats and just living it up. That's what the mega preachers doing, and they gone. The mega preachers, They are reprobates, meaning their minds are gone. And I'm just keeping it real with you people, man. The mega preachers, y'all, they have turned stupid. You know, I'm just going to tell you people the real God honest truth, man. The mega preachers are stupid now. I'm keeping it real. T.D. Jakes is not smart at all. He's a stupid pastor. He's a stupid bishop. And the reason why he's a stupid bishop, because he sold his soul. Okay, that's stupidity. You see what I'm saying? Joyce Meyer is stupid. Okay, Joel Osteen is stupid. Creflo Dollar, Benny Hinn, they stupid mega preachers, man. Preachers today, y'all, they are stupid. So there is no reason. Okay, so you got to understand the will of God can't be done through them because they stupid preachers. And to prove that they are stupid, they have sold their souls and traded in the true gospel for the sake of money and fame. That's right. So that right there proves that they're stupid, because you got to understand this. You got to be a fool, okay, to think that God is not going to judge you in the end for that. And see, this right here should show you people that those mega preachers are not smart at all, because they have to be fools to think that they're going to heaven. You got to be a fool to think that Jesus is going to let you into heaven after you done compromised the real true gospel and sold your soul to paganism and the Illuminati. You got to be a fool to think Jesus is letting you into heaven for compromising the gospel. You got to be a fool, okay? And y'all, I'm keeping it real with you. The mega preachers are stupid, so they can't do the will of God. The will of God, y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's over. Nobody cares about the will of God no more. That's done away with. And I'm just telling you people what's really going on in the spirit realm. I'm just telling you people the truth, man, because you people need to know this stuff, man. Seriously, if you people would just look at everything with an open eye and just be honest and just be real with yourself. Just be real. In churches on pagan Sundays, the pastor comes out, he gives this old phony Christianity message to the people, and it's over. It's not about the real will of God getting done. It's just about the pastor coming to church on a pagan Sunday. Okay, he preaches for about a good 30 to 45 minutes. You know, he puts on this little show. You know, some preachers scream and shout. Some of them don't do it at all. You know, and they come out and they give the sermon, and it's over. Everybody go home. Some people go to lunch. Some people go home and cook. That's it. That's it. The will of God, y'all, is done away with. Even in the gospel industry, gospel artists, the only thing that they are concerned about is putting out albums. From gospel singers to these pagan Christian rappers, they are just concerned about trying to rap good and sound good. And the gospel singers are just focused on putting out a record. So you can't even get the real will of God over there. That's just the truth. Okay. The Hebrew Israelites. Yes, that's right. The Hebrew Israelites, false cult, and all of them psychopaths that they're in, they're not even worrying about the real will of God. The only thing they worrying about is talking about Caesar Borgia all damn day. And they talking about the government, and they blame everything on the government, and they blame everything on the white man. They twist up a bunch of scriptures, they make up a bunch of stuff, and that's it. That's it. They give you a bunch of information and knowledge on all kinds of things, you know, and that's it. That's it. That's it. But the will of God, it's not being done. That's it. Because you got to understand something. What's knowledge? What's a bunch of knowledge without the will of God? The knowledge is dead. It's a lost cause. Don't make sense for me to be knowing about the white Christ and Caesar Borgia and all of this stuff if we're not going to do the real will of God. Do you see my point? And that's what the Hebrew Israelites do. They talk all this stuff about all this information, but the real will of God is not being done. You see? And that's what they do. They blame things on the government, okay? Instead of people just taking responsibility for their own lives. They do all kind of stuff, man. They talk about this, talk about that, but yet the real will of God, y'all, is not done. I'm telling y'all, Jesus Christ ain't gonna lie to you. The real will of God is done away with, man. People don't care about that no more. And y'all, I'm just gonna keep it real. Jesus Christ spoke about the real will of God. He spoke about this, and we need to look at what he said in the scriptures. Okay, because in the book of Matthew, if you have a pen and a paper, you can write this down. In the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 21, Jesus Christ, he spoke about this, man. This is very serious. In the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 21, Jesus said, "Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven." See, that's what this whole thing is about, y'all. This gospel is about the true will of God getting done, man. That's what this stuff is about, because you got to understand something. A bunch of knowledge being poured out to people without the will of God is a lost cause. It really is. And see, when Jesus walked the earth, Jesus was about getting the Father's will done. You see, and I tell you people all the time, man, the true will of God is saving these souls from the lake of fire. You see what I'm saying? That's the true will of God, man, saving these souls from hell. Because you got to understand, I can give you people all of the knowledge all day long, but if the real will of God is not being done, then that's a lost cause. That's right. You just going to be a person with a bunch of knowledge, but yet you're still not doing the true will of God. Okay, even in Christianity, they give out all of these inspirational messages and these weak sermons, and that's it. The real will of God is not being done. And Jesus talked about this in the book of Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. He says, "Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will." You see, I'm telling y'all, man, people don't care about the true will of God, man. And I'm just keeping it real, even all online, man, all on YouTube, all on Facebook, all on Twitter, man. You have a bunch of people who yapping and running their mouth about Christ and running their mouth. They post up their Bible verses. They post up all the little scriptures and they talk about God. But yet when it comes to them doing the true will of God, nobody wants to talk about that. You want to know why nobody wants to talk about that? Because the true will of God is done away with, man. People don't care about that in these times. I'm just keeping it real, man. We are in the last days. Folks are not worrying about the true will of God. You want to know what folks are worrying about? In Christianity, all of the mega preachers are worrying about their money. That's right. Their money and their fame. And all of the other pagan Christians are worrying about probably, getting into a relationship or something or getting married. I'm just telling y'all the truth. The Hebrew Israelites are blaming everything on the government over there. So, they're not bothered about the true will of God. I'm telling you what's going on. This is serious, people. This is really real, seriously. And then all of the rest of the people, all they're doing is just bickering online and debating over Bible verses and stuff. Just going back and forth about this and that and the other, and who's right and who's wrong. The Bible verse, this scripture, this, that, this, and all this foolishness. But yet they're not worrying about the real will of God. I'm telling y'all what's happening. Seriously, the mega preachers are worrying about their money and fame. That's it. That's all they care about. They multi-million-dollar homes and their money and their fame and how big their church is and how many members they have. That's it. The Hebrew Israelites, they over there blaming everything on the government. That's what they're doing. They're blaming everything on the government and they're just making up a bunch of extra stuff and just all this extra stuff. Okay, that's the truth. Pagan Christians, all they doing is worrying about probably getting married or, being in some false relationship and all this craziness. And the rest of the psychopaths online, all they want to do is debate over Bible verses. They just want to try to prove somebody wrong. And all they're doing is going back and forth, debating over the scriptures. That's it. But when it comes to the real will of God, y'all, nobody wants to talk about that. And the reason why is because the real will of God is done away with. People don't care about it no more. And y'all, that's sad. And you people know I ain't lying because you people see it for yourself. So you can't say, oh, Tiario's making it up. No, you're seeing it right in front of your face. You see what mega preachers are doing. You see what pagan, stupid Christians are doing. You see what Israelites are doing. You see it. So you can't say, oh, Tiario's just talking crazy. Oh, no, I'm not. It's right in front of your face, buddy. It's right in front of your face, lady. So you can't say I'm tripping. The true will of God is done away with. People don't care about it no more. It's over. I'm telling y'all what's real. And y'all, I'm just letting y'all know off the top. I'm going to do my part for Jesus. And I'm going to do my part for Jesus' kingdom. I'm going to fight to keep the real will of God alive. Yep, that's right. If nobody else don't want to fight for the real will of God, that's cool. That's cool. I ain't even worried about everybody else. But I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do my part for Jesus. And I'm going to do it for his kingdom. And I'm going to fight for the real will of God to stay alive. Because if I don't fight for the real will of God to stay alive, then that's it. It's really going to be over, man. I'm just keeping it real because you have a lot of people who be online, and they be doing their videos talking about God and all this stuff. But when it comes down to the real will of God, nobody wants to discuss that. You see, and that's just the truth. But I'm going to do my part, y'all, and keep the real will of God alive, man, because I'm telling y'all, preachers have threw it away. They don't care about it. And you cannot make them care about it. Israelites don't even care about the real will of God. They don't care about it, man. If they cared about it, they'll be doing it. Nobody cares about the real will of God in these times, man. And this is sad because you get a bunch of people who claim they're following God, who claim they're following the Most High God, and who claim they love Jesus, but yet they don't care about the real will of God. How can you say you love Christ if you don't care about his will? Don't make sense to me, man. It's the truth. How can somebody come in front of your face and say, you know, I love Jesus, I love him with all my heart, but yet they don't even care about his will being done? You know what that means? That means you don't love Jesus, man. I mean, you don't love Jesus, lady. You just saying you love Jesus because of your emotions and your feelings. But do you really love him? See, when people really love the Lord, they do his will, just like the people in the scriptures was. See, Peter and them and Mary Magdalene them and the disciples and Daniel and Moses and Joshua and the rest of them and the Apostle Paul. See, they really loved the Lord, because it showed by their actions. They did his will. You see, and see, today, y'all, you get a bunch of people who talk about, I love the Lord, I'm following God. You ain't following nothing if you ain't doing his will. You don't love God. You just saying you love him because you don't want to make it appear as if you're evil, but you don't love God, because if you really loved him, you would be doing his will. End of discussion, point blank, period. That is just the flat out God honest truth, man. Today we have a bunch of people who talking all this garbage, okay, about, oh, we following Jesus and we love Jesus. But yet when it comes to the will, they don't want to talk about that will, boy. People hate the will of God. I'm telling y'all what's real. People hate the will of God. People hate it. You want to know why people hate the will of God? I'm going to tell you why people hate the will of God. People hate the will of God because the will of God requires them of doing things that they don't want to do. I said it is true. Let me repeat that. People hate the will of God because the will of God requires them doing things that they don't want to do. See, the will of God requires them of giving up stuff. They don't want to do all that. You see, they don't want to. They don't want to let it go. They want to hold on to gossip. They want to hold on to being jealous and haters and insecure and madness and going back and forth and all that stuff. See, they want to hold on to them fake friends and them phony wives and husbands and them satanic children of theirs. They want to hold on to all that stuff. So that's why they don't want to talk about the real will of God. Because when it comes to you doing the real will of God, you got to let go of stuff. Just like the people in the Bible did. See, you got to understand, people can, it's easy for anybody to just talk about Jesus and say they love Christ. But when it comes down to the will of God, don't nobody want to discuss it. T.D. Jakes and the rest of them, they don't even want to talk about the will of God. You want to know why? Because if T.D. Jakes start preaching about the real will of God, that means he got to shut down the mega church. Okay. And that means he got to tell all the members the truth about what's really going on. But he don't want to fool with that. You see, so what they do, they throw the will of God away. They throw it in the trash can and they just preach what the people want to hear every pagan Sunday. And that's exactly what's going on. Even those phony, wicked Hebrew Israelites, they ain't even talking about the will of God. They ain't doing it. You want to know why? Because if they start trying to do the real will of God, they got to stop lying to all them people. And they got to shut down they false Bible academies and all of that mess, talking about join their Bible academy and all of this stuff. And you got to pay them just to learn about the Bible. See, if they was doing the real will of God, they wouldn't be able to do that. You see, and see, y'all, this is why people refuse to talk about the real will of God. But I'm going to keep the real will of God alive.